Avakin Life, a 3D simulation game with aspects of roleplay, customization, and virtual living. It's easy to see why people would like to play a game like this. But as with any good thing, there will always be complaints, grievances, and issues. Well, these shortcomings are real and they have been showing up a lot recently. I wouldn't be talking about these issues if they hadn't gotten so bad, but as this is a game I've come back to for years now, it seems appropriate to talk about the things that no one will talk about. It seems like most people either see the problems and just say nothing, or have no way to voice their concerns. So I asked the community what problems they had, and they spoke up about their grievances. Loudly, it seems. I've gone ahead and categorized these problems in 3 sections: major problems, minor problems, and finally small problems. Let's start with a short disclaimer. I do not hate this game. I do not wish to bash it or anything. I've played it for 6 years on and off, and it's something I always go back to when I'm bored or need to find anything interesting or just to check on the state of the game. I have made a lot of progress in the game, as you can see here with my stats and things I own, and it's really a joy to come back and find new people and always interact. But I have been seeing a lot of things and they really get on your nerves, and so I decided to find some people, find the major problems, the small ones, and the grievances, and to make a video about them. Hopefully to shine some light for the people who can't speak for themselves, and for the amount of requests and information and support requests that go unnoticed by the game and developers. Hopefully this gets the attention it needs and the developers can start seeing where things have gone wrong and they can start setting them right. Anyway, let's begin with the major problems. Crowns. Yeah, we're starting off strong with this one. Crowns are the most recent currency added into the game, and they have caused the highest, and I do mean highest, form of uproar. They have effectively replaced coins, and this is such a bad move on the game's part. Crowns are real currency. Yes, they need to be bought and used, meaning the game has officially lost its free-to-play outlook. To anyone saying that the game is free-to-play, let me explain. Free-to-play means the game can be installed and used without payment and the items are satisfactory. But is it really free-to-play when Avakin Life has effectively made sure that you can't buy any new items, because 90% of them are crown items? And the ones that are coin items are all suffering from redundancy. They aren't as interesting as the crown items, you can all admit that. And if they are insanely overpriced. The game has a real money-hungry feel these days, and it seems almost unfair to call it free-to-play, because a game that is free-to-play should be open to everyone. Crowns can't be earned at all, so free-to-play players cannot get these items. Ever. It sets a divide in a free-to-play game between the ones who are paying and the ones who aren't paying. And it's not the usual divide which keeps things balanced. It keeps the people who aren't paying from ever getting these items for no reason whatsoever. It gets worse, but I'll get to that in a moment. Coin inflation. Coins have effectively become useless in the game. They don't have any of the more interesting items on the coins anymore, and the worst part of this is, all coin items are either doubled, or some of them tripled in price. I should also mention that almost all previous high-tier coin items are converted into crowns, meaning that they are effectively cut from free access. This is what I was talking about. This is a bad thing for obvious reasons, but let me put it into perspective. It's essentially making it so new players have low options for good items. If they want good coin items, they have to pay so much more, and if they want it better, they have to pay real money. Do you think this is fair for a game which is free to play and a game which wants to build a fair community? VIP subscriptions. VIP subscriptions are a way for paying players to get more from the game, to show off their status and to support the game. Except you can't get too much. On the screen is the official list of VIP perks, and you can see there's nothing really incentivizing you to make the purchase at all, except for the badges, that is. The only saving grace is the new VIP Insider Access, allowing you to check out new features early. Like currently, you can check out new body shapes before others, and there's the Buildly aspect, which allows you to edit games into your apartments. That's good, but that's it. The VIP club is so bland and boring, it does not look so appealing at all, and no one really goes there because of this exact reason. It would be better to just make a more interesting area for people to enjoy. Maybe then people have a better reason to stay subscribed. Male clothing options. You know what I'm talking about. Options for male clothing in this game are so lacking, it seems like the designers are always putting more work into the extravagant female outfits. For all types, when it comes to men, the options are very limited. We don't have more creative selections, and that's a fact that has existed since the beginning till now, but it's worse in more recent years. Lack of age groups. Within the game, it's hard to find varying age groups these days. It seems like adults have all but left the game and the creators aren't really doing anything about it. There used to be different communities and people to find, but that isn't a thing that's encouraged anymore. It's really sad to see. Reports aren't being taken seriously. As with any game, when you encounter issues with another player, you have the option to report them for what they did. But it seems in Avakin you don't have much luck with someone being punished for their actions. The game does not give you any feedback either as to whether that person you reported was dealt with or not. So most of the time the devs do absolutely nothing about the reported person and you won't ever know about it. Now let's move on to the minor issues. We'll start with inventory space. The game offers an inventory to carry foraged items and currently you are capped at 16 spots. Some people have complained that this number is a bit too low on foraging. Maybe having a higher number of inventory space might give people a better chance at enjoying the foraging options of the game. Working these days seems almost completely useless. You can only work for coins and not crowns. And as mentioned before in the major issues, the coin items have really gone up in price, so you will have to work so much harder and so much more to get the item you want, and hope that it isn't crown related. Else it's completely outside your reach, since again, crowns can't be earned. Glitches. Here's an honorary mention because all games have glitches, but Avakin does not fix the issues fast enough or effectively, and sometimes they just forget about them. So players are often stuck with issues keeping them from enjoying the game and often even kicking the players off the games repeatedly. I myself have endured this. Money, not people. The game doesn't care too much about the players these days, not the long-time players anyway. They are more focused on the money that new players will give them after finding out that their options are blocked behind a paywall. The game does not encourage conversations. The game really doesn't reward you for talking at all, and it would seem better to maybe give some XP per text, but not enough so that a person can just spam. It needs to actually encourage socializing, because currently there's nothing making talking to others any fun, or giving you any reward for doing it other than the aspect of socializing, which most people don't do anyway, so it's just a roundabout way of not getting anywhere very slowly. Language-specific servers. I saw some people asking about this. I'm aware you can change your server language, but making this option so obvious to players might help them seek servers where people speak only their language. This would help people find their communities much easier. If there is a server for Spanish people, then people of Spanish descent can go there and find themselves speaking to people they identify with more. Badges and community events. We need more community events for people to enjoy, and please don't make them so forced and expensive. The most recent one is ridiculous. I'm referring to the fishing event which required you to catch 10,000 fish, a number which is obviously completely insane. Why is it insane? Because fishing takes time and it only catches you one fish, and it doesn't even matter the rarity of fish you get. Just each fish counts as one, no matter the rarity. Keeping in mind it takes a few seconds to catch a fish, each fishing rod takes Avacoins to buy, meaning you'll be spending a lot of coins, 30,000 to be precise, and a lot of time, which is hours, which would be completely fine, but there is a time limit on this event, about a month I think. So it's not really a community event which lasts long, it's one that requires you to spend a lot of time and a lot of coins to get what you desire. It's not really reliable and it's not really fair for players who aren't playing full time. So let's try to keep the events engaging and rewarding and inclusive to absolutely everyone. Now let's move on to the smaller issues. Ads between servers. Currently you get an ad when you switch from one place to another. It does not matter which place it is. It could be your house to a social spot or a social spot to your house. You will see an ad. It's meant to make you more inclined to be a VIP, to not be annoyed. Yes, I do mean that you need to be a VIP to not get this advert. This is terrible and needs to go. And this did not used to always exist, this was added more recently, and that's why it's so much more of a nuisance. Content for returning players. Old players can't seem to find anything to return to. There's no real interest in needing to come back to the game for, well, anything really. They feel let go and they aren't wrong to think that the game doesn't really care about them much. More customizations. Self-explanatory. Clothing and people need better options. We've currently got body shapes, but what about things like height as well? There's so much room for improvements. They should use it. Furnished apartments. Some players have wished for buying apartments that come pre-furnished, so they're ready to use from the default instead of spending time editing themselves. Some people just aren't as creative and they don't want to spend too much time on every new house they buy, so this might help them out. VIP room upgrade. As stated before, the VIP room is so empty. Every single VIP area is so empty and boring. Look at it. There's nothing really engaging about it. It's just an empty area with, well, there are some things to look at, but there's really nothing keeping you here. There's nothing bringing you here either. We suggest turning it into a club, a very good one as well, and attach it to a social spot so VIPs can go from one place to another without needing to use the menu. My suggestion, add a VIP section at Club Sundown. This would make it so much easier and more appealing. So add VIP sections to all major social spots, so that players who are VIPs can enjoy both, going from the social spot they like into the VIP section which is visible right to them. It might help. Here's some closing remarks I'd like to talk on before the video ends. The crown issue is really a major issue. I'm mostly bothered with it because it has kept new players from enjoying the game. I am not new, but I have spoken to a lot of them and their options are seemingly completely limited as to what they can get. It used to be a game where you can start from the beginning and you can reach a person who has played for 4 years by just working hard enough and doing offers to reach them. But with crowns now, there is no amount of work you can do to get to their level, to get to what they possess without having to spend real money, which I understand as a business they have to earn money somehow, but it almost seems like extortion. What do I mean by extortion? It's not that the new items being added are crown items, no. Every old good items, like the ones you are seeing right here, none of these used to be crown items. I have so many things which were simply coin items that have been sent up in price as a coin, or they have been completely turned into crowns. It's not really fair to returning players, or players who just didn't buy them before they were locked behind a paywall. Coins. My main grievance about coins is that classic items and more items which are old but they had some value have been tripled or doubled in price, or just had a complete price increase in general, which isn't really fair at all. I believe they should have kept them as they were, and if they really wanted to amp up prices, just make better items, make different versions of the items, anything, just don't make it harder for players to get things which weren't hard to get in the beginning. Glitches. Glitches are famous in any game, but as long as they are addressed, they aren't really a problem. But Avakin are very slow to get on this problem, and it's really a nuisance when you think about it. Because there are some glitches, like the one which tells you your connection isn't strong enough, or one which gets you stuck when you are in a public session, or one that just disallows you from sitting in public or just shows you sitting when to other people you aren't sitting. These are all glitches which they will blame on connection problems, but these are things which really need to be addressed, and the game does not seem to want to be doing that. Features. Features is really a small thing, but it's always nice to have more features coming in, and it seems they are currently working on that, because in the short span of about a month or two, they brought in the body shapes, which is a good thing, and they have now brought in the buildly stuff, which is also a good thing because it allows more player interaction, more customization, and more fun into the game. They should keep this up and allow the game to grow and become a platform for people to enjoy it more. Events. Events are a thing which has existed for a long time in the game. I think the first one I remember was the vampire versus werewolf one, which has recurred about twice or three times. This is what I'm talking about. It's these things when you're playing the game you remember and you keep coming back for. There's the Christmas event, Easter event, there's the Halloween event, but adding more events into the game, more community events where people can earn items, badges, or anything of that matter, seems like it would be a really good thing to keep people coming into the game and people returning back to the game. These are things you look forward to and things that keep you playing the game. Anyway, that's all I have to say about this video. I realize I didn't really state anything positive, and if I did state anything positive, it was really shortened, but feels like this really needed to be said. I read all the comments from the people I asked from the Reddit post, and most people did not seem happy about the game, so it felt appropriate to state to that tone and not take away from their grievances. Hopefully this video gets noticed and they start paying attention. If you liked what you saw, share it to as many people who play the game as possible. Try to get the attention spreading. Try to get the attention spreading to them specifically so that they can actually work on these problems. And hopefully we can make the game a better place to be in, a place which is more inclusive, and a place which is just overall better for all players, old and new. Leave a comment on what you found wrong, leave a comment on what else I did not mention, leave a comment on what's good about the game, because I feel some good things should at least be mentioned just to balance it out so I don't seem like I'm just bashing the game. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.